So far in this series, we've had to start from scratch every time we wanted to start a project. So that could be entering a new prompt or dropping in a Figma reference or a screenshot. Basically, we are always rebuilding from scratch every element of the design. And this can be a problem because when we want to redo something or have something that looks similar to something else, oftentimes the AI regenerates it in a slightly different way. So what we're going to talk about today is design systems. This is basically a way to standardize elements of the design so that going forward, they always look the same. And there's lots of different ways to build a design system. You'll see in a moment. We're going to be using Figma references as the main element, but you can import from various different sources. So in the main element here of the main page, you can see that we can select the design system that we want to use, and we have the ability to create a new design system. You can also instead go over here to design systems and create a new one directly from here. We'll just name this one demo for the purpose of today. Inside of the design system, you can see that we have various import options. So we can import from your website, from GitHub, Figma, Storybook, and other sources. We're going to be using Figma as the main source in this case. But before I do that, I'm actually just going to close this and walk through what a design system contains. So you can see on the left-hand side, it contains multiple different elements, right? So we have fonts, we have colors, icons, spacing, and miscellaneous tokens, as well as any rules. You can basically think about this as ways of providing better guidelines to the AI or more context so that it's going to make the right decisions over time. Finally, at the end, we do have the ability to add components. And from here, you can see that we can put in a prompt, a Figma frame, or a Figma URL. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to our design. We're going to go back to the original, and we're just going to try to build these kind of one at a time. So I'm going to select this one here, copy, head back over, and paste this in. We're going to say create a card component. You can similarly go over to Figma frame and just paste directly and just import like so and import this in. And this obviously will take a little while. You can spin up more than one at a time. So you can see that one's generating at the moment. We can go back over to our Figma design, maybe grab this one here, copy this and do this one as a, import and so on and so forth. So you can basically kick off a bunch of these in sequence and import in all your various elements. We'll pause there for a second in terms of importing components and just walk through the other details in more kind of detail here. So typography is pretty straightforward. You can upload your own references URL or just specify the font family that you want to use. And you can specify more than one font group. So the heading, the body, whatever other font families or font groups that you want to use throughout. In terms of colors, again, you can import from a file, and there's lots of different supported file formats, but you can also just go ahead and add colors directly here. You name the token and you put in the color. And again, you can have, whatever number of color tokens you want to include. Icons. So there's going to be a default set of icons that come with your design system. You can see that you can select from a default set here. So I can go to feather, for example, if I like this, or you can manually import icons yourself. And then finally, the last two here are spacing and rules. So with spacing tokens, you basically are specifying, again, some name for the token as well as the value for the spacing. And you get a little preview on the right-hand side. Last thing is rules. Rules are kind of the catch-all if there's anything you can't capture in other places. So in here, you can just drop in whatever text you want, right? So this would be like how things should be used, how components should be used, maybe even just like what the product is. So when you're using the AI model, it has context that you're building a financial dashboard or an AI agent system or whatever it is, so that you don't have to re-enter that information. All right. Obviously, I haven't mentioned this so far, but one of the main benefits of a design system is that it's shared across your team. So rather than starting from scratch on every design, your team gets to reuse these elements as often as they want to. And so you can see here, this is our first component, our metric card. We can open up the details here of the metric card, and we can continue to iterate on it if we want to. So we can put in prompts and make changes. One note when you're looking at components is that the preview on the left-hand side is going to show variants of the component. So you can see this one has like the plus percentage, the minus percentage. This one doesn't include that. So the card itself, the component, isn't any one of these things, right? It's a component that can display multiple different variants. And in this case, it's showing us multiple examples of those variants. All right, we'll take a look at the agent health strip as well. We can see here, different examples, different layouts of what this kind of strip component would look like. Cool. So now to kind of wrap up this idea, we're going to use this design system inside of a design. So I'm going to do a screenshot this time, just because, it's going to be helpful to see that we're going to be able to improve the quality of our screenshot. So copy this as a PNG, drop this in. We'll say recreate this design using my components. And this will just take a moment. We'll see what it looks like in a second here. Okay, so we've built our prototype one last time, and when we take a look at our code here, what we should see is that our agent health strip and our metric card were used inside of our design, right? So we can see the component being used here. We can look at the design system, and if there was a change to the component, let's say someone made an improvement, we could actually just upgrade to the latest version of that component, which is great. And so you can see that card being used right there, and then the agent health strip being used across the board here. And this is actually an improvement from our very original one. This was in prior videos, but the very original, I'll just pull it up for fun. You can see that the kind of health strip, this bottom component here, didn't really look like the Figma design too much, and even the cards honestly didn't look too much like it, but just by importing those two components and then throwing in a screenshot, we're getting better results already. So this is kind of the value prop of design systems, is pulling in your components and then reusing those components again and again, rather than having to re-reference them or pull them in from Figma every single time. And the other benefit is that if you ever want to prototype something completely different, right? So you're not referencing anything, but you want to just start from scratch, brand new idea, it can pull in those components to help you build out that idea, making sure that your prototype actually looks like your real product. That's going to be it for this one. I'll see you in the next one.